Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to drink some coffee and talk about the top 12 ultimate rifle cartridges. Stay tuned. If everything goes according to plan around the end of the fiscal year, I should be around my 500th video and hopefully around 15,000 subscribers. So I've been looking kind of back at my channel and some of the videos that I've done. And so this video is kind of a look back, and sort of a celebration of the channel, but it's definitely a celebration of these 12 rifle cartridges. This is not a normal list. This is not me saying the best cartridges. This is a very channel specific list. It's the ultimate cartridges from Hopeful Ballistics, from my channel. So in some way, these cartridges have been showcased before, or there's some reason why they have some kind of correlation to my channel. They happen to be 12 of the greatest cartridges of all time, of course, as well. But it's not that kind of list. I'm not saying this is the greatest cartridges of all time. I'm just looking back at my channel, some of the videos I've made, and I want to highlight these 12 ultimate cartridges. Real quickly before I do that, I want to talk to you just a minute or two about this watch. Check this out. The Cospet Tank X2 Ultra is a GPS smartwatch with a stainless steel body with a 3D curved AMOLED screen. The 3D AMOLED screen is Corning Gorilla Glass, works for Android and iOS. You can answer and make calls. It is waterproof, shockproof, and low temperature resistant. This is a military grade smartwatch that's anti-impact, anti-fluid corrosion, and dustproof. This watch has built-in GPS and route back support, dual band and 6 satellite positioning systems that make it a great watch for hiking, sightseeing, and traveling. It does have compass altitude and air pressure features, Bluetooth calling and AI voice assistance, 170 sports modes. Of course, it also has multiple health monitoring, such as your heart rate, blood oxygen, mood, pressure, and smart sleep tracking. This is a comfortable, rugged, military quality tested smartwatch. Here is what this watch comes with. Obviously comes with its box, its manual. Also this charging cable with a USB-C end. The watch itself is nice and stylish. Of course, my first recommendation would be to get the app, and you can control a lot of settings and view a lot of things via your smartphone. And of course, you can change the face of this watch to many different options. Easiest way to do it is just to go on the app and pick what works for you. I happen to like this one. It shows me the date, the time, the temperature, which is the main things I'm looking at. All 4 swipe directions is going to take you to something. Notifications, different settings, different tools and apps, daily activity, but you have so many options that you can scroll through. And you can set it up the way you want it to be set up. Left button puts you on your sport modes, which you can edit and set up the way you want. This is your power button on the right, but either button kind of works as a back button. If you're in a menu and you just want to go back, press it, and it kind of takes you back to your home screen. Definitely an interesting watch that I would highly recommend you checking out. There is a lot to like, especially the affordability of this product. Check it out. All right, let's get to it. I want to talk about these awesome cartridges. This is in no particular order. So this is not going from 12 to 1. This is just one at a time talking about them. I would love to know in the comments though, once you've watched the video, what do you think of these 12 is the greatest? Or your favorite or the best? However you want to figure that out. All right, like I said, in no particular order, but number 1 is number 1, the 30-06. Now, I'm not going to go through the history of each cartridge. I'm just going to give a very brief kind of rundown. Obviously, it came from the 7x57 Mauser, made it a little bit longer, necked it up to 30 caliber, a little bit different. It's been an amazing cartridge. The original version, 1903, the current version 1906. I've made many videos about it on the channel, and the best video I've ever done as far as views on a non-short video was 30-06 versus everything. I just checked to see currently how many views I've got, and it's like 103,000 on that video alone. And I got a lot of subscribers from it too. A lot of my subscribers just have trickled in over the years, done okay here or there. Shorts has actually brought in a lot of subscribers, but that's a standard video that's got over 100,000 views. By far, not even close, the best on my channel. And I've also called the 30-06 the greatest cartridge many times. And by great, I mean taking into account its history. I'm not saying strictly performance, but just greatness. You know, the history from World War I, World War II. After World War II to this very day, in my opinion, it's just as relevant as it's ever been. It's just as great as it ever was. It and the 6.5-284 go back and forth between what I think is my personal favorite. But it's the greatest cartridge of all time, as far as the history and all that. And it's just as good today. But it has a really special place in my heart because in the channel, it's been my greatest video ever. And so, 30-06. All right, the next cartridge is the 308 Winchester. Of course, it has to be on here. I've killed more whitetail deer with the 308 than any other cartridge. It was the first cartridge that I used to kill a deer. It currently is my channel gun. If I'm gonna test out ammo, more than likely, unless I have a special project or a special rifle that I'm wanting to shoot, it's gonna be 30 caliber in 308. It's such a great cartridge overall. It's easily in my top 5 favorite of all time. I have called it the best whitetail deer cartridge ever. If you live out west, that could be the 270 Winchester, but it just does everything it attempts really good. It's just, I always think of it as a balanced cartridge in every way. I'm not gonna go through all the things about it, but it's an incredible cartridge. Very popular, very available, and has been a big part of my channel. So, 308. 6.8 Western is the next cartridge. Now you could say 6.8 Western or 270 short mag. Either one would probably work. I have the experience shooting a 270 short mag. It has been on my channel and will be in the future quite a bit. But in my one cartridge to rule them all video that I did, I named the best all-around hunting cartridge the 6.8 Western. And this was taking into account from my own experience with the 270 short mag, but also just the improvements over the 270 short mag that it made and how it just checked a lot of boxes. And I went through it in that video. So if you want to watch that, go back and see that. But it's actually a really long video. It's like 40 minutes long. But not, long range target shooting, just hunting with everything factored in. It has all the Creedmoor touches, the high head height, the fast twist rate, very similar chamber dimensions as Creedmoor cartridges and PRC cartridges. It's just a modernized short magnum, and it's really, really good. And in a video that me and Reloading Weatherby did, whether we decided if it was a stud or a dud, we threw out there the hashtag save the 6.8 Western. And so that was kind of a neat thing. And then we really didn't talk about it anymore, but Montana Musings is living the lifestyle. He has put forth a ton of awesome content with the 6.8 Western, and that's become his slogan. And I do still plan to get one of these days. I'd love to get one in a Model 70 Winchester. All right, no surprise, the next cartridge is the 7mm 08. If you want to not only hunt, but also shoot long range, when I first started my channel, I named this cartridge the best all around, if you want to do both of those things. And I stand by that. Planned on getting a Ruger American a long time ago. It never worked out. But here recently I've got my Tikka T3X Light stainless, and I'm really enjoying that gun. It's quickly moving its way up toward my favorites. But a great cartridge. And my feelings toward the cartridge, have been confirmed since I've had it and been reloading for it. Started by using Chris's 708 that I borrowed from him, and I liked it so much I had to get one of my own. I have called the 7mm 08 the jack of all trades in a pretty recent video, and I stand by that. It's an amazing, all-around great cartridge. It's really good at everything. It might not be the best at any one thing, but it's good at everything. It's a great cartridge. All right, next cartridge, the 7mm PRC. I think it's a fantastic cartridge. I did a video, this has been probably a couple years ago now. It's actually when it first came out. And I talked about the best designed 7mm of all time. And I threw some people for a loop. They were kind of shocked that I picked the 7PRC. There's some really, really good designed 7mm cartridges out there. The 7 Rim Mag, the 28 Nosler, the 708, the 280 Ackley Improved, the 284 Winchester. But I really do like the 7mm PRC. And when it first came out and I first saw the specs, I literally thought to myself, if I was going to design a cartridge, that's probably what I would have designed, or something similar. So I was just a fan of all the design characteristics of that cartridge. Now, it's like any cartridge. You need to find the right powder to, get the most out of it, to reach its potential. But it's just a phenomenal cartridge. And I have called it simply a more modern version of the 7 Rim Mag. And I literally called it the best designed 7mm cartridge of all time. And I stand by that. Phenomenal cartridge. But I also have on this list the 7mm Remington Magnum. What a success story. I mean, in 1962, the 700 comes out along with that cartridge, the 7 Rim Mag. It has been popular from that day until this day, and I believe it will continue to be popular. Anytime I've praised the 7PRC, I made a point to say, I do not believe it's going to kill the 7 Rim Mag. I said that a couple years ago. I stand by that now. I think they're both going to be good cartridges for a long time. The 7 Rim Mag, compared to the 7PRC, it just has more powder. It's just going to go a little bit faster. It's not as geared toward the heavier bullets unless you get some of these more modern rifles that are 1 8 twisted. But it's an amazing cartridge. It just works. If you go way back in my channel, there was a time before the 6.8 Western or 7PRC existed that in a video I called the 7 Rim Mag the best hunting cartridge of all time. And so, there's been some other newer cartridges come out since then, but it's still one of the greatest hunting cartridges of all time. If you know anything about tiers, me and Reloading Weatherby did a tier ranking, and I called it an S tier cartridge, which I believe he did too. There are times when you just simply have a caliber, a bullet weight range, a case, an amount of powder, and that combination just works out perfectly together, and that's the 7 Rim Mag. It's here to stay. All right, speaking of videos that I titled Best Designed, I had a 5-part series called Best Designed 30 Caliber, and I picked this next cartridge, the 300 Winchester Short Magnum. And I've told this before on the channel, but it has been a while. Years ago, before I had a YouTube channel, I just didn't care about the 300 Short Mag. I think I like the standard 300 Win Mag better. And I remember knowing a couple people that had a Short Mag, and I just didn't care, didn't think it was that great. Until I actually did some research and really looked at it and realized it's actually phenomenal. It's basically the same performance as the 300 Win Mag in a shorter, more efficient package. And so in that 5-part series, I did end up calling it the best designed 30 caliber cartridge ever made. And just in case you haven't seen some of these videos, that's a reference to its design, not its availability, its practicality, its popularity, even its applications, just designed. But the design is phenomenal. And cartridges that have come from it, like the 270 Short Mag or the 6.8 Western, are also phenomenal. It's just a great overall design cartridge. I'm not a big Magnum person. I just don't have any large animals around here to hunt that I need real big Magnums. 30-06 works just fine. But one of these days I am going to get a Magnum rifle, and I probably will get a 300 Winchester Short Magnum. Next cartridge is the 280 Ackley Improved. Now, once again, this is an older video on my channel before the 6.8 Western, before the 7PRC, before actually a lot of our newer cartridges came out. I actually called it the perfect rifle cartridge. It's the only Ackley Improved cartridge that was SAMI standardized, which is really cool. Has, all the Ackley Improved cartridges have that 40-degree shoulder angle, give it a little bit more case capacity. The taper in the walls are blown out. It's just a cool design. As far as cartridge lineage goes, its father is the 280 Remington, which is awesome. Its grandpa is a 30-06, which is amazing. It just has so many things going for it. It's very similar to a 7PRC, nipping on the heels of a 7 Rim Mag as far as performance. Definitely is an efficient cartridge. Love its design. It also checks all the boxes. I've almost got it in a rifle a few times. Haven't got one yet, but I just simply love the idea of it, and it makes the top 12. All right, I have to put this cartridge on here. I mentioned it once before, but it and the 30-06 go back and forth as to what my favorite rifle cartridge is of all time. But I'm going to say it's my favorite. The 6.5 284 Norma. Of course, the amazing cartridge, the 284 Winchester, way ahead of its time, basically duplicates a 280 Remington with a smaller, more efficient case. I love the design of it as well. The rebated rim, the 35-degree shoulder angle. But the cartridge was put in the wrong rifles, never really had much success, kind of died out. Recently it's been big in F-class and things like that. But it's been the parent case to some cool cartridges that have come out recently. But my favorite of its offspring is the 6.5 284, and it's simply a 284 Winchester neck down to 6.5 caliber. It basically duplicates the performance of a 6.5 PRC, maybe even better in certain circumstances. I have a video out where I used the 140 grain Spear Impact and Mag Pro powder and got like 3160 on average feet per second without pressure. And so it really is a cartridge that outperforms what you think it's going to. It's just not popular, it's just not common. And so it's never gonna be the best of anything because it's just an obscure cartridge. Really only Savage and maybe Christensen or someone like that chambers for it. But because it's my personal favorite cartridge, and I love my rifle that I've shown on the channel a few times, that custom Mauser 98. Of course, when it comes to my list of 12 cartridges, it's gonna be on there. So I love the 6.5 284. It's an amazing cartridge. All right, the next cartridge in the Hopeful Ballistics Ultimate 12 cartridges is the 6.5 by 55 Swedish. Now you say, why would that cartridge be on here? Well, it's a phenomenal cartridge that duplicates, if not outperforms, the 6.5 Creedmoor, but yet is 100 years older, which is cool. 1892 is when it came out. But the main reason I have it on this is because of the video I did, just a simple review. I've done 30 videos on my channel, rifle cartridge reviews, where I just focus on a cartridge. And the one that has been the most popular, and it's not even close, is that video. I didn't expect it to, you know. I did like 308, 30-06, 270, 7 Rim Mag. I did a lot of popular cartridges, but my video on the 6.5 Swede, as far as those 30 videos, has got the most views, and it's not even close. And I've had so many people from Europe especially, but other places in New Zealand and Australia, but especially Europe, that have commented and told me the cool military rifle that they own from their dad or they got it now. They've talked to me about how it's way more popular over there than, you know, the 6.5 Creedmoor is, or any of our popular cartridges. It's one of the most popular cartridges even today in, you know, Norway, Finland, Sweden. And so it's just really cool that I've had so much interaction with people from Europe over that video and that rifle cartridge. And it truly is a beloved cartridge across the world. Now that was 10 cartridges, and I promised you 12. The last two, I let you pick them, but you didn't know that that's what you were doing. Last month, I put out a poll and I said, of these 5 cartridges, which do you think is the greatest? And the 2 of those 5 that got the most votes is the last 2 cartridges. I had so many people comment, why isn't the 30-06 on here? Why isn't the 308? Why isn't the 7 Rim Mag? The reason was because I knew those cartridges were already going to be on this list. There's a lot of you guys who have recently subscribed to my channel, and I'm glad to have you. I appreciate you. But I've also had some that have been here since the beginning. I have seen your comments since my first 10 videos, and you're still here. And I just thought, as a celebration of my channel, I'm going to let my subscribers pick the last 2. And so for the people who watch my channel and see my polls and vote on my polls, you got a chance to pick those last 2. And they were number 11, the 300 Winchester Magnum, and number 12, the 270 Winchester. Now, I've said before on the channel, the 300 Winchester Magnum is basically a 30-06 plus P. It's just the next level. It's a much bigger case. It just simply works all over the world. I don't know how many times I've saw a PH from Africa being interviewed, or a guide from the Western US or Canada or Alaska being interviewed, and they say, what's the best cartridge that you have seen over all your experience and over all your years? And there's a lot of answers. I've heard 30-06 a lot of times, but a lot of times, probably the most, I've just heard 300 Winchester Magnum. Just bring a 300 Winchester Magnum to Africa or Alaska or wherever, and you'll be good. It's just an amazing Magnum cartridge, an amazing hunting cartridge. And like I said before, if a 308 is a hammer, a 300 Winchester Magnum is a sledgehammer. Quite an amazing cartridge. Good pick by you guys. And last but not least, because like I said, this is in no order, is what I would call the legendary 270 Winchester. It's legendary because of the stories we've read from certain gun writers. It's legendary because of its cult following. I mean, I don't know of any cartridge, except for maybe the 30-06, that has the cult following of a 270 Winchester. And what I mean by cult following is just die-hard fan base. They stick by it, they love it, and they've used it and had such good experiences, and it just simply works again and again and again. It is funny, all these new cartridges come out, and there's the 6.5 Creedmoor, then there's the 6.5 PRC, and then people do a deep dive and they're like, well, the 6.5 PRC basically is the ballistic twin of the 270 Winchester. And I always think that that's hilarious. A cartridge that came out in 1925 is the ballistic twin of the 6.5 PRC. And I get that they're not the same caliber, not the same thing, but the 270 is still got it. And like I mentioned earlier, it's probably the ideal deer cartridge, mule deer, whitetail deer, especially if you have a longer shot. Like around here, I would call the 308 the perfect deer cartridge. A lot of people just use a 30-30. But if you've got a little bit longer shots, you know, beyond 200 yards is a common shot, man, it's going to be hard to beat a 270 Winchester. It really is. It might be the sweet spot for deer, you know. Whether you're shooting deer in the west of the US or you're shooting plains game in Africa, it might just be the sweet spot. It's a legendary cartridge. So that's the 12 cartridges that I wanted to highlight today. They all have some relevance to my channel, to videos I've made or something, but I feel like I just wanted to, as I'm getting close to my 500th video, bring out what I think is the 12 cartridges that have been featured the most on this channel. And like I said at the beginning, I'd like to see your guys' comments. Of these 12, what's your top 5? Or what do you think is the best of these 12? Anyway, I had a great time, fun time talking about these rifle cartridges. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you liked it. Check out this watch if you want to. And until next time, guys, have a great day and take care.